It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
And it's on.
Run it with your friends, come on.
Come on, come on.
So this is a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing, because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show at night, people. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct, and I am glad to be back. That's right. I've had a couple of weeks that I've been a little bit busy, but I'm back in the game again, as you can see. And man, like the theme song says, we don't miss a moment of the show tonight, because we're going to be talking about a subject that is probably sensitive to some of you all, because I've gotten some correspondence back about how social media is driving people in their personal lives. All right. And we're talking about relationships. We're talking about kids. We're talking about the things that happen when you're in school. We're talking about just all kind of stuff. So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. And listen, since I've been gone, man, y'all been out here wilding, a bunch of stuff going on in the news media. Y'all boy Donald Trump is out here acting like he done lost his mind. And I'm just saying to y'all, listen, did y'all see where who was it, Jimmy Kimmel, they kicked off the air for a few days? Come on, now. Why is y'all messing with Jimmy Kimmel? And what that goes to show you, people, is that this thing that we call freedom of speech, do we sometimes take it too far? Absolutely. But I am amazed personally at when America gets mad about something. And that's real talk. Because apparently America doesn't get mad when it only seems to find anger when it is something that it views as being provocative. Jimmy Kimmel made a comment, or some comments. Look at that, Detective Pamela Black. What's going on, girl? Glad to see you on the show tonight. Yeah, I missed y'all too. But Jimmy Kimmel made a comment in relation to something associated with Donald Trump and the gentleman Kirk that got murdered out west. And since I have not been on in a few weeks, and I was reading through some of the things that y'all put in my DM, if you will, and y'all was asking, my opinion about it. So let me begin by saying this. Just like I have a right to I've been on this podcast for about 8 years now. Just like I have a right to have an opinion and a view, so does everybody else. And sometimes it's not whether or not you like or dislike a person that gives them a right to have that perspective. Now, and that's part of what we're going to talk about tonight as well, is there a line between your personal feelings and freedom of speech and acts that would be considered malicious and or otherwise? So we're going to talk about a few things tonight, but as it relates to that, since y'all wanted to know my opinion about it, first of all, I'm always saddened regardless to who the person is that lost their life. I don't have to be a fan of somebody's views to be respectful of the fact that those views Taya Matthews, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. To understand that those views that a person has shouldn't be at their demise. So any of you who thought that I might be out here on some rah-rah because a person was murdered who had an opinion different from mine, that ain't how I get down. I believe he had a right to have those opinions. Um, I believe you, as the American public, had a right to judge him on those opinions. But that judgment should not have reached that particular level. So that's my perspective on it. As I often tell you all, I'm an independent, so I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I have my personal views about a lot of things. But Dr. Beverly Key, what's going on? Glad to see you tonight. So I just want to be clear about that because I didn't want you all thinking I was running from the question because I hadn't been on the show. But again, to wipe that out so we can move forward. My opinion is, while I disagreed with the views of that young man, I believe that young man had the right to have an opinion. And we, as the general public, had not only the right, but the obligation to fact check whatever he said, to know whether or not whatever he said was true, and then to judge it based on that. But that young man did not deserve to be murdered because he had a view different from mine. There's a lot of things you can do when you fact check a person or organization or otherwise. You have the ability to go back and say, look, I fact checked and what you put out was wrong, or why do you have that perspective? But sometimes we take it too far. And that's that freedom thing that we talk about. Veronica, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. So again, I'm glad to be back. We're about to get into it tonight. And tonight's podcast is about social media, truth, and toxicity, how the online world shapes relationships. All right. Y'all, they go my mama. Hey, mama, what's going on? My mama done popped up on the scene. You know, she be going to sleep early on a brother. Unless she be wanting to say something crazy, then she'll call me at any old time. But anyway, so first of all, I want to welcome you all to the show tonight, and we're diving into the powerful influence that social media has on people in general, but from a relationship perspective, and how it can unite, mislead, or completely destroy, depending on how the information and, in some cases, images are used. We'll explore the difference between truth and rumor. We'll talk about the weaponization of images and comments, and even the legal lines between free speech and defamation. Along the way, we'll look at real world cases where posting the wrong thing online has cost people millions of dollars. And I'm going to tell you like this: ain't nothing wrong with keeping you a lawyer on tap when people begin to put misinformation out. So first of all, let's begin talking about, for our first segment is talking about the power of information. Correct information online can strengthen trust and show support. Fabricated information can ruin reputations in a short amount of time. An example, a vague post like "someone just can't be trusted." Think about that. If you saw somebody's name, depending what it was, it could be on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, anything. And if it's somebody and they say, oh, this person can't be trusted, it begins to shape, because first thing you want to know is why. Why can't this person be trusted? Okay. Now, have you ever seen a post about someone you know that turned out to be false? How did that change it? Think about it. And I'm going to give you guys some examples of how something that was said was false and it changed a person's narrative. And in Hollywood, it's a trip because we often hear rumors. I'm gonna use a good one for example tonight. If y'all remember when old Sean Combs, old P. Diddy himself, Brother Love, if you will, when he was initially when they raided his homes and he was arrested, the first thing we heard was that they had found thousands of bottles of baby oil, and that in this baby oil that Sean Combs had masterminded a way to put some kind of solution in the baby oil that when he put it on you, you wouldn't know what had happened to you. Y'all, it was just like y'all was saying Sean Combs was Merlin the magician. And this is water for some of y'all that be out there minding your own business and mine. I found this in Walmart. I don't mind saying their name. See, it's called Saratoga. Tastes like regular water. It was just cheaper and I like it. So mind your business. But anyway, so they said these things about Sean Combs. They said, oh, Sean Combs was messing with little kids. Sean Combs was putting this drug inside the baby oil. And they said all these things. And for months, we followed them and we formulated opinions about Sean Combs. And then at a certain point, they get to trial. And when they get to trial, I like watching legal cases, even if I got to bring some. But I like watching legal cases. And as I'm watching the legal cases, the first thing I begin to see is I'm waiting for the baby oil to come into play. Where's the drugged baby oil that he spiked that got people passing out? And I don't see the feds come up at any point with that information. And I begin to start listening to what they was talking about. And no doubt, Diddy got some eccentric things that he and his people was into. And we ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about the things that social media put forward that individuals said that we took as being truthful because it was said. Come to find out, nowhere in the Fed's case did they ever say that Sean Combs had one bottle of baby oil that wasn't just baby oil. But we thought for months that it was. Walk with me now. All the stuff we heard them say about Sean Combs and some young kids or whatever. The feds didn't bring one case of Sean Combs doing anything with a minor. Now, is he sick? Do he got some proclivities that's most of us wouldn't endeavor into? Absolutely, but that's not the point of tonight's show. The fact is that social media, the news media, these platforms put out over a period of weeks and months that these things were true. But when it came time to produce the information and the evidence in court where it's real, nothing to be found. And so you have to begin to ask yourself, how much of what we read and see on social media is either true, fabricated, and do we ever question the authenticity of the information, or do we just rock with it? Especially when it's on your friends and family. All right, let's talk about the image trap. Social media images create perfect couple illusions. They fuel insecurity and envy and unrealistic comparisons. Let me say this to you all. And I am not going to put this on a gender tree, if you will. But many times, from a relationship standpoint, people see couples on social media, they see couples on TV, they see and they run with the optical illusion of, oh, they just so in love, or they got this going on. And then you begin to drag that into your own personal relationships, and you begin to expect the person that you are with to be just like that you saw on social media. Now, how crazy is that? Think about it. You out here watching something on, some of y'all be watching Country Wayne and thinking that them skits is for real, or y'all see this couple and y'all say, oh, they've been together for a long time. They can't even stand each other. But you're holding your significant other to the standard of being what you believe somebody or a couple that you saw on social media was. And they not even that. And so I bring these things up because we have to look at social media through a stronger lens. One, let me tell you what the law says about social media. The law says that a person is liable. Okay? Let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. A person is liable in the United States posting false information about someone can be legally actionable under defamation law. There isn't a single federal law that criminalizes all false statements online, but civil law provides remedies, and here's the breakdown. Now, I'm telling you all this because some of you all who have kids that are in school, teenagers, and we're going to talk about the types of things that happen and how you can both remedy them and how you can deal with them if it occurs with you. First, defamation law. Defamation is a false statement of fact about someone published to a third party that harms a person's reputation. Liable is written statements, ergo, on social media post or blog post. Slander is a spoken statement on video or live stream. Think about what I just said now. Definition of defamation. Defamation is a false statement of fact about someone that is published to a third party that harms a person's reputation. Now, how many of you have gone to social media, one of your platforms, forums that you love, when you was mad with somebody, and what you did was you put out something that you said was factual that you knew was false, or you should have known was false, or you should have fact checked before you put it out there. Once it is published, now get this, people, I want y'all to understand, the entity that is posting it is not liable unless they post it as if it is true and they are the poster of it and there's no other person involved. Meaning, I can let you use a false name to post, but I cannot take what you sent me. I posted myself. Don't give you credit as being the author of it. Now I, as the entity, am posting something that is factually incorrect. And if it harms your reputation, you can be sued. Generally speaking, though, and I want you guys to understand this because some of y'all get mad with Facebook and y'all get mad with the social media platforms, and you say, oh, I'm going to sue them because they posted something. It is not, they are, and I'll tell you guys what it's called here in a little bit, but they are not liable because they allowed another party to post something. They are liable if they post it and there is reputable harm to you. Liable is when someone writes a statement on social media. Slander is when they speak it either in a video or live stream. The key elements to any of this is that, Nikki Carter, what's going on? Glad to see you, girl. The key element to how you deal with social media is the statement is false, but presented as a statement of fact. Just want to educate you. If I go up there and say, I don't like Nikki Carter because I feel like something crazy, whatever I might put on it. If I said that, I'm not making that as a statement of fact. I'm making that as my opinion about Nikki Carter. But if I were to say that Nikki Carter, in the attempt of me making Nikki Carter look bad, or people believe something negative about her on social media, if I said last Tuesday, Nikki Carter went into the grocery store and stole 10 steaks and put them in her purse. Now I am making something a statement of fact about Nikki Carter. It is not an opinionated thing, and it could be damaging to her reputation. If I did that, she could sue me, because what I did was, if I wrote it, it would be a liable statement. If I verbalized it, it could be a slanderous statement. All right. Nikki Carter said it causes irreparable harm to her sterling reputation. Now, come on now, Nikki Carter, let it be what it is, girl. Let it be what it is. So, a publication to at least one other person. So, I don't want you all to think that just because you went to some social media platform and you posted it up there, if one other person is involved in that, then you, the person who posted it, is still liable. Facebook is not liable. Okay? Fault, either negligence or actual malice, depending on the target. What was the purpose of you posting it? Were you posting it with the intent of making people think something derogatory about Nikki Carter? If so, Nikki Carter can sue if the facts are not, if they're incorrect, because what you did was liable to her reputation. And as Nikki Carter said, her sterling reputation. All right. Malice. Public figure versus private individual. Public figures must prove actual malice. Statements made knowing it was false or with reckless disregard for the truth. Let me tell you what that means. That means you knew when you made up the lie that it was a lie. And the way you told the story was intended to cause harm to somebody's reputation. That's what the law says. That's if it is a public figure, meaning someone whom the public has access to, and you make a statement that you either know factually is a lie, or you should have known, or you had the ability to fact check and you failed to do so, and you put it out with reckless disregard for the truth. Meaning, I said something publicly, or I wrote something publicly that I knew was a lie about Nikki Carter, and I had the opportunity to get the facts before I did it. And when I did it with the intent to cause Nikki Carter harm in terms of her personal opinion, her personal perspective, her professional career, or otherwise. Typical remedies. Now, private individuals generally must show negligence, a lower standard. I want y'all to think about that. Sprinkle that on your spirit for a second. So if you got two young girls, and I want y'all to think about this because it happens all the time when we're talking about teenagers or some of y'all grown folks that be out there, you mad at somebody, you go say something and put it in writing that is derogatory, or it would, to a reasonable person, it will make this individual be viewed in a negative light. If it's on a private individual, the standard is lower. All I got to do is show that you did it and it caused me harm. That's general negligence. Typical remedies are monetary damages, or what they call compensatory or punitive damages, retraction or apology, and injunction to stop further publications. There's another little piece. If you post something that you know is a lie, or you should have known was a lie because you didn't fact check, ignorance of the truth is not a waiver for you to be malicious towards somebody's reputation. So if you didn't fact check, but you kept saying the same lie, then that goes to further show your intent of disregard. They call that malice. I'm going to give y'all some examples in these cases. All right. Dominion voting system versus Fox News. In this particular case, Fox News made a claim about election fraud, and it led to $787.5 million settlement that Fox had to pay because it was determined that their false statement of fact about Dominion caused irreparable harm to Dominion's reputation. What up, Corey Parks? Glad to see you, big homie. Nick Sandman versus multiple media outlets. Settlement and correction after the false viral allegations. They allowed and false statements to be printed on social media. He sued them. He won a financial settlement, and they had to go back and put a correction. Newsmax versus Smartmatic. They falsely reported information Smartmatic did against Newsmax, and it resulted in Newsmax winning a $40 million settlement. Now, what does that say to you all? When you start looking at the consequences of what you say and what you do in terms of social media, it would lead you to believe that you should check your facts before you get that paperwork from one of these lawyers that is in the process of drafting, because there's proof that something or multiple things you said were factually incorrect. Let's talk about, is there a possibility of criminal liability? While most defamation is civil, some states criminalize malicious false statements, especially if they are intended to harm or threaten someone. Now, this is for y'all sons and daughters, and in fact, some of you all are so angry, or your kids become so angry, and you're unaware of the consequences of social media, that what you do is you'll see people get up on social media and they'll threaten somebody. Man, when I see you, it's lights out. Or if I see you out in them streets, I'm going to kill you. Or you continuously say things that the public believes is factual because they're trusting your judgment, and you say them as a statement of fact. Let me be clear. Me saying Sinclair is stupid, that's my opinion. Me saying that Sinclair is angry, that's my opinion. Me saying that Sinclair is a loser, that's my opinion. If I say Sinclair did something, if I say that this occurred because of that, if I say it as a statement of fact, now it has been used to weaponize an emotion from the public and potentially damage. So if your 12-year-old is in her room or his room and they in there texting on social media and they beefing with somebody at their little elementary or middle school, and they say, you know, when I see you, I'm gonna put these hands on you, that's threatening. Okay, let's call it what it is. There's a consequence for your actions. Okay, let's talk about it from harassment and cyber stalking laws. These laws can sometimes apply if false posts are part. Think about it now, what I'm telling you. Cyber stalking or harassment can sometimes apply if false posts are part of a broader pattern intended to intimidate, threaten, or harass. Well, what does that mean? That means if you are putting out false information over and over again, it is considered harassment. And again, stop thinking that because if you believe that you're going to be able to go and say, oh, I didn't know it wasn't true, I heard. That doesn't work. You're responsible for what you post. And if you post it continuously over and over again, every other day, every other week. I'm posting up a lie, and the public is believing it. It is called harassment. Harassment. That's what it's called. These ain't my rules. These the law. Platforms and removal. Social media platforms have their own policies. They can remove posts even if the law hasn't acted. So, Mona Great, what's going on? Glad to see you, girl. So, I want you guys to understand that these platforms are under no obligation before the law enforces, or unless you go and seek legal remedies, meaning you can have your attorney to send a cease and desist letter, especially if you can show that some of the information being posted is false and it is causing irreparable harm. All right. Federal law section 230 generally protects platforms from liability for user content, but it does not shield the person who posted the false information. Now think about that. See, some of y'all be going under these pseudo names, these false names. Understand, when someone sues, they are going to get your name, your IP address, all of this information from the platform from which you posted. And when they do, the federal law section 230 will cover the platform. It will cover Facebook, but it does not shield the person that posted the factually incorrect statements. Anymore, what's going on? Glad to see you. And why am I telling you all this? Because just because your son or daughter is sitting in the bedroom and they beefing with somebody from their school and they do something like post some pictures of them, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, or they post some lies about them. They say, oh, this person was sleeping with this person stole some, this person is selling drugs, anything that they post that is not true and accurate, that could harm a person's reputation, the law does not protect the individual who posted it. So just because you went out here and someone told you, oh, you can post it on my site without showing your face, because that's a thing that happens, especially with young people, some of y'all old ones too. You can post something without showing it, but the law, once a person files a injunction or files a complaint legally with the courts, they are going to find out who you are. They're going to find out your IP address. They're going to find out the MAC address from which the computer that you sent it from. Robin Williams, hey girl. And what they're going to do is they're going to track it back to you. Don't think for 1 minute that a social media platform is going to walk into court and they're going to tell the judge, hey, I'm not going to tell you who it is. It doesn't work that way. They're protected, but the author, now let me tell you where the platforms may have a problem. If the platform posts articles and the posting of it doesn't say, we received this information from a person who is inside whatever, then what you're posting it as being factual. There is a fiduciary responsibility of an organization and an entity to post factual things. So you can't just post whatever you want for likes and clicks. All right. Now, so they're asking, if you are the one of those people who have been targeted, what can you do? Or if your child has been targeted by a cyber bully or somebody in their class or whatever, when you want to know what can you do, practical steps if targeted by false statements. Now, remember what I'm telling you. Someone's opinion doesn't count. They can have an opinion about you, and the general public, Jay Dizzle, what it is, what it do, that's the big homie. They can have an opinion about you, and it is covered under freedom of speech. And I know that may sound crazy to some of y'all, but the truth of it is, if somebody says Sinclair is stupid, that's their opinion of me. You can either take it and adapt it as your opinion of me, or you can leave it. That's an opinion. But if they say Sinclair did something that he factually did not do, that's not an opinion. That is a statement presented as a statement of fact. S.A. Shepherd, glad to see you. Preserve the evidence, meaning take screenshots, get the URL, get the timestamp. This is what you do, parents or individuals going through it. When you see something, somebody sends you something, your name is attached to it, it's implying something about you. The first thing you want to do is take a screenshot. Then take your mouse, drag it to the very top of your screen, right click on it, tell it to copy the URL. Because most of the time what happens is these things get erased when you start trying to check people on them. Right click that on an open Word document, save it. Now you got that. Take a screenshot. Use one of these formats, a snippet tool or whatever. All you got to do, click on it, hit new, grab the image in its entirety, save that to a Word document. You want to preserve as much evidence as possible. Go into the comment section. Take your screenshots of that, because part of what you want to show is that the public believe these things to be true. And part of how you prove that is you look at the responses in the comment section. So if I want to show, let's say hypothetically, Johnny made up some lie on me, and now I want to be able to show the courts that I've been harmed by it, whether it's my personal reputation, my professional reputation. One of the steps in preserving that perspective is to take screenshots of what the general public is saying about you once they read what the person put as a statement of fact. Look here, I'm turning y'all on to nothing but game. By the same token, if you have a child who is doing this, if you got a teenager, or if you are doing this, understand they've probably already copied the URLs. They've probably already copied the screenshots of what the public is saying. They've probably already, quote, preserved evidence. So you're going to see it again. And I say this to you all so that you need to go and get your teenagers or your young kids, if they got the phone, or you need to call your homegirl or your homeboy, and you need to say to them, hold on, I might need to take down them lies that I put up, because I just saw this on the Sinclair show that the law says if they can prove that it was a lie and it damaged a person's reputation, they can sue. I'm just saying. Some of y'all be like, man, they ain't gonna sue no little young child. You tripping. And if you the parent of them, you gonna catch that L. Okay? And let me say this. I've got several degrees, right? One of them is in information technology. I understand computers, code writing, the whole 9 yards. Okay? I have a master's in global management. I understand business. Okay? When I was in the military, I was in logistics. Okay? I've been in education for about almost 22 years. So I'm trying to tell you all game, so you all understand that when you out here in these environments and you think social media is a place for you to get your retribution, or your child is out here mimicking what they see you do, and they think they're going to handle it because they're going to spread a rumor or a lie about somebody, here's what happens when you do those types of things. You are liable for any statement that is non-factual that could damage someone's reputation. Nikki Carter says some people post truths and was bullied into believing that their post was a lie. Could be. The law, Nikki Carter, is not protective of somebody because you didn't like what they said. All right? Let me make that clear because I don't want to give you guys some false sense of hope. If someone says something that is their opinion, they have a right under free speech to say anything that is their opinion. Sinclair is stupid. I don't like him. He's fat. He's skinny. He's too. I don't like gray hair he got. I think he's a mean person. You can say any of that because that's your opinion. Okay. Now, but if you say something is a statement of fact that the public might believe, and because you said it as a statement of fact, not an opinionated comment, you can be sued and probably will be. All right? It's the same thing for your sons and daughters. Don't believe because you're in middle school or elementary school or high school or college that you can post things and say it is true and it be considered malicious and there's no consequence because it is. All right? So we talked about preserving the evidence, taking screenshots, save copies of the direct messages if they're relevant. What does that mean? Somebody says something, they start corresponding with people on social media, the individual attempts or the group attempts to reinforce the truthfulness of the lie, save it all. Use tools like browser, save page as, or web archiving tools to make sure that you have proof because online content can disappear quickly. They wanted it out there for the shock value. They wanted to get clicks and likes. They wanted to make you feel small. They wanted to harm you reputation-wise. They wanted to mess up your relationship with your hunger. I don't know what the purpose that your sons and daughters or you or somebody else might do this, but use these tools to preserve these pages, to preserve these comments because they worth money to you. And remember, if it's a person doing it to another person, the standard is much lower. Okay? Report the content to the platform. Social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok have reporting tools for false statements, harassments, and threats. If your child comes up and they have a Facebook profile or they've got a Twitter profile or a TikTok profile and they are using that account and the other child or the other person or the other adult goes up and says, hey, I'm sick of this, they can report it to Facebook or to the parent company, and generally they will shut it down. You can even give them an explanation or you can give them some information that proves that the statement is false. Okay? Let's talk about one of these things that I really believe women, you and certainly young teenagers, some men too, I ain't gonna cap, non-consensual intimate images. All right, let me say this now. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you all right now nervous because I said that. Some of y'all is dealing with somebody. Let me get this microphone up. Some of y'all are dealing with somebody that has for certain you done sent about 100 of them pictures of yourself too. Now I'm just saying, I ain't trying to make you feel no kind of way. James Key, what it do, big dog? And I'm saying this because you definitely want to let your daughters and your sons know, because there's this gray area. First and foremost, it is illegal Understand what I said? It is illegal for a minor to send a nude photo of themselves to another individual, even if the individual is a child. Maybe y'all ain't hear that. So I'm going to say it again for the people in the cheap seats. It is illegal for a minor to send a photo of themselves to someone else, even if it is another child the same age, younger or older. If they are a minor, they do not have the authority. They can be considered to have promoted child pornography, even if they are the ones that sent the picture of themselves. And if you are the recipient of it, let me tell this to some of you fellas, all right? Some of you young dudes, y'all still in middle school, elementary school, high school, and y'all think it's cute because your girlfriend sent you a picture of her that's a little risque, if you will. Don't open it. The moment you open that photo of a minor who is either unclothed or perceived to be, it is considered you have received child pornography. Now, some of y'all parents, go have that conversation with your kids tonight. Let it be what it is. Understand the law. I appreciate the law. I want you guys to, most of y'all that have been up here on this show with me for all these years, you know how that we go through step by step because we like to deal with facts. If your child sends a nude or perceived to be nude picture of themselves to another child or an adult, it doesn't matter the age of the parties that they sent it to. It is considered to be child pornography. They can be arrested. Ty say, even if you don't know what it is, let me tell you something, Ty. I just want you to think about what you asked. When is the last time? I'm gonna say this, you know, and I might be slipping. When is the last time somebody sent you a nude picture that you didn't know that it was? Come on, now. What kind of lifestyle you got where people just be sending you nude pictures? If I ever, and I ain't saying I ever got any. I ain't saying I haven't. I ain't never got none of no child. Matter of fact, let me break this down for you even deeper. Because sometimes you can get arrested for child pornography even if you didn't send something that you thought was child pornography. Let me tell y'all, I'm going to give you a Ty talking about something I ain't never gotten in it. Look, I ain't the feds. You the one came out with the question. But let me say this. Some of y'all got them brand newborn babies. And y'all taking pictures of them. Oh, yeah, he or she so cute. And y'all taking pictures of them laying on the, y'all just got through bathing them and you got them on the towel and you just trying to save moments. And you know what? I'm going to send a picture to their grandmama because I want them to always be able to memorialize these days. If you take a picture of that baby and that baby is unclothed and you send it through your cell phone, or you send it through your computer to the grandma or anybody else, it is child pornography. Some of y'all gonna say, I did that all the time. There ain't nothing to it. I ain't had no ill intent. Let me tell you something. The only reason why you ain't locked up behind it, because the feds, nobody was watching your account. If they ever go through your computer and they see that type of item on your computer, it is child pornography. Nikki Carter talking about even if you accidentally download it. If you accidentally downloaded it, and because, again, I'm an IT person by trade, let me go ahead and sprinkle this on your spirit. There are sites where information can pop up on your screen. You was at one site, next thing you know, because of some spam or something, you start getting a whole stream of pornography that popped up there. The law takes into consideration how long did you have it up? What did you do when it popped up? Remember when I was talking to you about URLs? They can tell based on the code in it and the timestamps that comes with it, how long you had something open. Okay? So if I went on a site and something popped up and I clicked the X, they can tell by what we call keystrokes in the computer world. They can tell by the keystrokes what you did when it popped up. Now, Nikki Carter, if you got a picture of some dude or some young dude, because you was out here acting like a cougar, and you clicked on it and opened it up, and next thing you know, you was looking at it, and then it took you 60 seconds to close it. You wasn't trying to close it. You was trying to get a look at it. The reasonable information is something that popped up via spam is different than something that popped up and you opened it up and you looked at it for a little bit because something was wrong with you, and that's your thing then. All right. Johnny said, Jay Dizzle said, looking at something 17 times is not an accident. It's intentional. All right. Nikki Carter said, no, wait, I'm not saying I did. I'm just letting people know because of what offenders say. A lot, it was an accident. Well, how you know so much about what offenders will say? Anyway, I digress. Me and Nikki, we on good terms tonight. But I want you all to understand, ignorance of the law is not a position that you take when it comes to child pornography. So stop thinking that your child's so cute that you got to send them when they ain't got nothing on. Or you got your son and your little daughter because they the same age and they walking around the house with just they pamper on and they doing something stupid and you're videoing it and you send the video or you post the video up on social media. You have posted up child pornography. Think I'm lying? Ask the law enforcement. Look it up for yourself. Yeah, some of y'all right now is going into your Facebook account and you up there trying to delete images right now because you didn't realize some of the stuff you've been putting out. Let me tell you the other thing. So we've talked about young people. If you are considered to be a minor, you do not have the right to even send images of yourself. Let me tell you the other side of this. For some of you young boys out there, young girls too that are spiteful and meanful, let me tell you, if you take a picture of someone and you send that picture to somebody else, or you alter the picture that you sent. I know some cases online where young people have took a face of one of their classmates, found a snapshot of an image online that was nude or whatever, put her face on it, sent it out to convince others that this was the person naked. It is considered to be malicious. You can be sued. You can also be charged with harassment. Y'all ain't with that. I'm trying to keep y'all out of jail. I'm trying to keep y'all from getting sued. I'm trying to get y'all to understand you need to pay attention to what your sons and daughters are doing if they are minors. If you are an adult, you need to be focused and understand something, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know whether or not you can trust the person. And just because you can trust that person today don't mean you can trust them tomorrow. I'm just saying. Make it make sense. And ladies, sometimes y'all get caught up. A dude will be like, oh, babe, send me a picture. Send me something nice. And you go take a selfie. You ain't got nothing on. Ching. Now you're sending it to him. Shouldn't be sending it no way. Let me start with the fundamental basics. What would Jesus do? But let me flip it to the other side. If he is not willing to send you a compromising photo of himself, then you should not send him a compromising photo of you. Hey, I'm going to keep it real, because that tells you the intention of a person. Okay? Again, shouldn't do it anyway, because everybody ain't trustworthy. But if a person asks you to do something that is provocative in nature and they're not willing to do it, that tells you there's something wrong with it. Now, if both of y'all out there like that, hey, it is what it is. That's between y'all and Jesus. Ty said, oh, guys do that stuff all the time. Ty, is you out here telling on yourself, girl? Listen, you can't sue nobody if you did it intentionally. But I am saying to you all, be mindful, people, because social media, imagine this. Imagine that you sent something to somebody and their account got hacked. Now you out here on the dark web with your dark skin showing. Come on now. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to put y'all up on game. Social media is a funny thing. And a person that's crazy about you today can be crazy tomorrow. Yeah. And women, y'all known to be crazy. Yes, crazy about you today. Love you to death. Something go wrong. They went from crazy about you to crazy. Men, we generally ain't like that. Let's just call it what it is. The average dude is not about letting he ain't trying to show his old lady to nobody. Because we too jealous. We don't want nobody whatsoever. Nope. Man, let me see that girl you talking to. Nope. I ain't letting you see nothing. That's how we are. We don't play like that. You got to have like a special bond with somebody. You got, hey, we jealous creatures. But women, some, not all, they can be vindictive. And let me tell y'all something. Also, y'all done pull the same little stunt with about 50 women. You ain't with them no more. You get with this new one. She crazy. Make sure your phone is cleared out. Because if your new girl is crazy, she go in your phone and see pictures of your old girl in your phone. Next thing you know, she's sending them out to everybody. Let me let you know something. She probably going to jail in the end because it's harassment, it's malicious. But you have to understand your responsibility is to protect the people in your life. I ain't judging. I ain't no hypocrite. I'm just saying, in our lifetimes, most people have done some things that they are not as comfortable with. And so you must keep it in your mind that social media is a peculiar place for you, for your kids, for everybody to operate. Everything you see on social media is not true. People can use social media for good. They can also use social media for bad. When it comes to kids, when it comes to young adults, you have to be mindful because they are young-minded and they don't necessarily have the wherewithal to understand the consequences of their actions, but the law still holds you accountable. And we know for a fact, often the law will treat a person of color like an adult, where they may not treat someone else like an adult. So don't assume that if your son or daughter who might be 13, 15 years old, don't assume because they a child and they get caught up sending pictures of themselves or posting up pictures of some other child, that the law is going to automatically say, well, we're going to cut some slack on them because they're young. I'm just saying. Look, people, it's time for me to get up out of here, I think. Let me see. I ain't got my glass on. Look like it's 9 o'clock, people. 9 o'clock, I got to go. But I wanted you all to understand tonight's show It is about protecting yourself on social media. It is about sitting down with your kids and letting them know that social media is not a place to commit certain infractions. And be mindful that what you say and what you do on social media can come back to haunt you or somebody else.
It's about that
I gotta
time,
go, people.
baby.
I need some sleep. I need some rest.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm out.
Here we go.
The Sinclair